This duck's head is on fire for an amazing reason. Anyway, let's review Mixtape. Every once in a while, I'm a sucker for a bad video game. I have done it. Duke Nukem Forever, Mind's Eye, and so many others. But once in a blue moon, there will be a video game that will be hated by the entire gaming community and is left unexpected. A game so good, it's bad type of game. Like, it's so good that everyone starts to hate it. You get the point. In early May 2026, developer Beethoven and Dinosaurs and publisher Annapurnal released Mixtape, a game with glowing reviews from the biggest review sites. And on May 7th, when it came out and gamers played it, they hated it. As for me, when I saw the hate for Mixtape on Twitter, I personally thought Mixtape's reception is being blown out of proportion. It's a game that plays itself. This game is terrible. This game is a psyop for what's to come in the gaming space. All of it was just... But I thought of something. What would any person, or duck, would do in this situation? Just play it yourself. And I did. And for once, the populace is correct. Mixtape is indeed the worst game of 2026, and I want my hours of playing this game back. Now, I tried my best to see the good in most things, just to at least give some type of credit, so I did two lists, which is the good, that the game has great graphics for the most part. The soundtrack is good. Some parts of the soundtrack is good. And finally, I think that the art style is intriguing. Everything else is terrible. All of this is an interactive movie with no difficult choices to make at all. It is indeed a game. Well, if you call it a game, I'm going to call it a game, but pretend I'm like, my wings are opening up in quotation marks, if you will. Just pretend that you see that. Something like this already exists, and it's called film. The only gameplay elements is moving around, selecting things at points, and a few mini games that just come off as time killer. It doesn't serve any function other than to progress in the game at certain points. I get Mixtape as being a slice of life style story. However, most slice of life stories do have conflict and would have been better if Mixtape had difficult decisions to be made. Basically, this game is supposed to be like a John Hughes movie, but it takes place in the 90s and it's far past like John Hughes' understanding of youth and how a generation completely changes right after that. And some reason they just fail at it. Stacy Rockford, who's the main character, is moving from her hometown that is outside of Oakland, California, to New York City in order to become a music supervisor. A job that is now called setting up a playlist. But don't get me wrong, I think music supervisor still exists as an actual job. However, Stacy Rockford is the most pretentious character I have ever seen and heard in my life, and I wish she was a villain, like in a horror game, like an actual horror game. Every time Rockford brings up what tune we are listening to in Mixtape, it reminds me of Patrick Bateman when he was showing Huey Lewis in the news with Paul Allen in American Psycho, and then right after that, Patrick Bateman would immediately chop him up with the axe. Like that's what it feels like. Every time she just shows up and tries to tell us what tune that we're listening to, it's almost as if she's about to pull out the axe, grab it, and she'll excitedly explain it, and then goes like, "Hey, Kaiser!" Huh? Ah! Like, it's just... Oh my god, this is gonna be so bad. Where was I? Oh, yes. Rockford has... I feel like the voice acting in this game is competent. It isn't like extraordinarily good. It isn't like amazing. It just serves its purpose. However, Rockford's voice acting is the most obnoxious accent I have ever heard in my life. Why did Rockford even go with this accent? Rockford reminds me of a prep school teenager who thinks that they are a know-it-all and think that they are cool, even though if this individual were to be real, I think they would be severely bullied in high school. And which even is weirder when Rockford is along with two of the other friends that are in this game. I'm not gonna fucking name. I don't know their. I only know Stacey Rockford's name because she made me go insane. Like, they were the bad kids in this game, like legitimately the bad kids, and I'm like, really? This group is the bad kid? Like, come on, like, gotta give them a better design with these kids. Just show that they are like the troublemakers. All the other characters did their jobs. The voice performances feel as if it is just a paycheck and leave then an outstanding performance. The story itself, as said before, doesn't have any sense of weight. There is no high stakes, which takes place throughout the entire time. There's this lack of investment for a story about a teenager going to New York City to stalk some record label manager to become a music supervisor. I was watching one scene where Rockford and her friends were trying to find booze, actual alcohol for a party, and they would end up finding it, and they did the whole stereotypical orchestra scene of discovery, and it looks like Pulp Fiction and all. It just felt like very not inspired. It feels bizarrely like a weird carbon copy. Oh my god. No. You know what? That's it. I'm grabbing a beer. I'm grabbing a fucking beer. Fuck this game, man. Fuck this game. And another thing I kind of have a problem with this game is the final party scene in Mixtape, where basically it's just this high school party, and throughout, and I'm like confused by this. If you've ever been to a high school party or even a college party, for example, I've been to college parties. And when was the last time that you were at a party and you hear some of the people in this party go, "Haha, I'm high," or "Oh, man, I'm so drunk"? Like, look, unless you have like a friend who's just telling you, like, "Kaiser, you're drunk," like something like that, like, okay, fair. But I feel like the developers or whoever wrote this never been to an actual high school party. I don't think so. Yeah, that's what they always say at a party.
Yeah, sweet. I moved that kid.
It doesn't feel like a high school party. It feels like aliens came down and tried to copy what a high school party is and failed miserably at it. It's just bad. There's like a lot of other elements to talk about, even in Mixtape, that I have so many problems with. Like, the one I kind of had a crash out with is the whole bikes being like philosophically uncool. There's basically the slushy scene, and I am going to be glossing over the whole French kiss mini game in this, because the French kiss mini game was just too like, leave that away from me. To simply put it, to conclude, Mixtape story is not good and feels incredibly unimportant with the lack of decision making and everything else. Which leads me to one other thing that I want to talk about before I kind of conclude. So on Twitter, there was a lot of people thinking, because the game was getting 10 out of 10 review scores, that, oh, It's obviously an industry plant. And it seems to be kind of possible. However, for now, for legal reasons, this is just a game theory made by the wider gaming audience, and it is best to take it with a grain of salt, even with what I'm about to say. So keep in mind and judge for yourself for this one. So a lot of people on Twitter didn't go after the developers of the game, which is Beethoven and Dinosaurs. They went after Annapurna, the publisher, for it, and the reason why is because the person who founded Annapurna was Megan, well, is, why did I say was? She's not dead. Is Megan Ellison. Name sounds familiar, right? So she is related to Larry Ellison, the founder of Oracle, and she also has a brother, David Ellison. And David Ellison owns Paramount Skydance. And the Ellisons are a very powerful family in the US, so it wouldn't be surprising that Larry or David may have passed some money under the table to top game reviewers of the sites to give Mixtape some high reviews, because Megan had this insane wild falling out with employees at Annapurna back in 2024 where they just basically fired almost everyone because of a negotiation dispute. And that is kind of the conspiracy, I think, basically. I don't believe it. It wouldn't surprise me if it even is true, but I just don't think so, considering that David Ellison right now is buying Warner Brothers, and that purchase is right now on hold. Last I heard. Thank God, of course. Also, not to mention that Larry Ellison is also is in charge of Oracle, and right now he's really into AI and AI investments. So it is just like that. Just a game theory at the end of the day. Nothing too serious. Kind of something I'd rather keep my hands off of. But it is kind of worth mentioning in this game review because the controversy of the game has spun out of control because it just resulted in that conspiracy theory. So if I were to put this game on the scale, I would give it a 2 out of 10. 1 point for the art style and visuals, 1 point for track selection, and everything else 0. Yes, 0. After I streamed Mixtape, as you can see with the gameplay footage and all, I did get a comment from someone that said that they enjoyed the game. There is going to be a bell curve of people who do actually enjoyed Mixtape in some sort of certain way. And to be fair, that's their hill to die on. I'm not the type of duck to sway one people from one side to the other. I'm more of a little bit of a storyteller, if I were to say it myself. But, you know, at the end of the day, there is going to be people who would like this movie. I mean, there are people who basically like The Happening and thought it was one of the most scariest movies of all time. Or Megan is Missing. Meanwhile, I'm like the other side where I fucking hate it. Regardless, though, Mixtape is indeed one of the worst games of 2026 so far. And I give it a 2 out of 10. And who knows? Who knows? Maybe Grand Theft Auto 6 gets nah, I'm just screwing. Anyways, thank you for watching. Hit the like, hit the sub button, and yeah, I'll be back soon. Stay safe.